Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a major cooldown that is coming to the eastern and central United States. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how do you think that this upcoming November is going to go? We're already looking ahead towards the month of November. Do you think it's going to be colder or warmer than normal? Let me know where you're at as well, because that's going to be important, obviously. And I'll be picking one of those comments for tomorrow's comment of the day. Alright, now let's get into this video, and first things first, we're going to talk about how we're going to go from a temperature pattern that looks like this on October 11th, which is today, to this on October 18th, which is, approximately a week from now. Alright? So first things first, let's take it back to October 11th real quick, and this is today, so we're dealing with some warmer than normal conditions for the eastern and central United States, unless you're really far north up there in the northern Great Lakes or interior New England states, and even then, you're approximately, I would say, slightly below normal temperatures. Nothing crazy yet, so you're still going to be dealing with much colder than normal conditions compared to what you're dealing with right now. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to move on towards the 14th, which is when we're going to see a big change in the pattern. So we're going to be kind of stuck in this warmer pattern for a few days now, and then towards the 14th, we're going to see a bit of a change. Now, taking a look at October 14th, as you can see, we're dealing with the near normal conditions here for the eastern United States with some lighter blues mixed in, which is actually going to be the areas that are dealing with the slightly below normal temperatures. And this is going to feel quite pleasant. You've actually been dealing with the warmer than normal conditions for quite a while now, but we're going to see a good swath of those states actually enter the blue areas there, which is going to be quite pleasant, like I said before. And down there for the southeast, we do have a bit of an area of some well above normal temperatures. That is going to move out in a few days, rest assured. We actually see a lot of cold up there for south central Canada. That is going to be our massive cool down eventually. And as we move towards the 15th of October, this is going to be the morning hours of Thursday, October 15th. You can see a lot of that warmth returns to the eastern United States just ahead of our trough, which you can see has now completely entered the north central United States and the Rockies. Probably going to have a snowstorm that comes around that time frame as well for a lot of those regions. That's usually how it goes when these deep troughs come in. If you see a low pressure system running along the southern side of that trough, you will see a lot of snow associated with this type of a pattern. So I do anticipate that that is possible. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to move on, and we're going to see this trough by the 16th, which is going to be a Friday, fully just dive into the central and eastern United States with the well below normal temperatures. Alright, so here we are taking a look at October 16th, and as you can see, this is going to be the high temperatures, so this is crucial to know, because in a second we're actually going to take a look at the actual temperatures. But you can see we do have a lot of those purples and pinks around. That is our well below normal temperatures, fully engulfed into the north central United States, all the way down to the south central United States in areas like the Appalachian Mountains, the mid-Atlantic states dealing with those purples. That is the far below normal temperatures. So let's go ahead and take a look at those actual temperatures for this same frame. And as you can see, take a look at that. Many 40s throughout the northern half of the United States there, especially the Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, dealing with the mid to low 30s. Now, this brings me actually to a little bit of a blast from the past. Back about a month ago when we were dealing with those very big cooldowns in September, I mentioned to you guys that if we get a cooler pattern in mid-October, about a month from the time I was talking then, that it would be significantly colder even if it was the same departure from normal, even if it was in September and now, so a whole month apart, if they were both 5 degrees below normal, that's a massive difference just because of how cold you are, because we're much closer to winter, obviously. And sure enough, here we are. This isn't even as cold compared to normal as we were seeing in September, and it's much colder actual temperatures because of the fact that we're in mid-October as opposed to mid-September. That should be obvious that as we get colder further into the winter seasons, that we're going to be dealing with some colder temperatures. Even normal temperatures in October are colder than the below normal temperatures in September, just because that's how far our average temperature is diving down this time of year. About 10 degrees per month is the average rule of thumb. And we can see along the East Coast, many 50s, lower 50s, even some lower 60s if you're along the immediate coast. You have to remember the Atlantic Ocean is still somewhat warm. It's going to take a while to cool down. So if you're along that coast, it's going to be harder for you to cool down a lot. I deal with this. I'm very close to the coast, so we deal with this very frequently, where areas inland have a higher they fluctuate a lot more with their temperatures because they don't have that water influencing the air temperature. The West Coast deals with this a lot. If you live there, you know that your temperature is greatly influenced by those water temperatures offshore, especially the West Coast, because the winds are moving from the ocean. If you're on the East Coast, the winds are usually moving from the land, but still the water temperature influences it a bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to move towards October 17th, where things are actually going to get a little bit colder for some regions. Some regions are going to be a little bit warmer, but really, for the most part, a lot of these eastern regions are going to be a little bit colder than the 16th. All right, now here we are taking a look at the 17th. And as you can see, those purples have actually moved mostly into the Ohio Valley by this point, into a lot of the Appalachian Mountains as well. So this is where our well below normal temperatures are set up for the most part. And let's just go ahead real quickly and look at those actual temperatures for this frame as well. And as you can see, the mid 40s, even lower 40s here for a lot of the Ohio Valley, definitely cooling down significantly for a lot of these regions. Again, the eastern seaboard is mostly lower 60s, upper 50s, depending on how far north you are. Like Maine is probably the upper 50s. And then Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, more like mid to low 60s. So obviously the further south you go, the warmer it's going to be by a little bit there. All right, but most of those greens are indicating lower 50s, 40s, and even 30s showing up there for the upper Midwest still. A lot of the Great Lakes as well dealing with the same or similar conditions. Let's move it to October 18th here, which is going to be a Sunday. And as you can see, we still have those purples around. So this is going to be a good long-lived cool down, actually. So we're still dealing with those purples for a lot of the eastern regions of the United States by October 18th. Let's just take it straight to the 19th here as well, which is going to be a Monday. And as you can see, those purples are still around. It is moving a little bit further east here on this model. We obviously are now moved into about 200 hours out. So we are going to see this fluctuate a little bit over the coming days. As we get closer to this event happening, you will see some changes in the outlook, but we're right in that range where we're pretty confident this cool down as a whole is going to occur. It's really just about the more about the specifics with it is what could fluctuate at this point. All right, now very quickly, here is October 20th, which is going to be our last high temperature frame of the entire model run, and the cool temperatures are still around by October 20th, indicating that we're probably going to close out October on an entirely cold note for the central and eastern United States as a whole. All right, now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at our CFS V2 model on our weekly increments. So we're going to take a look at, first off, this upcoming week, the week after that, and then the final week of October, and just take a look at what those temperature patterns are going to look like. So first things first, here we are taking a look at this upcoming week. So the 11th through the 18th, which is right around when we're going to start to see the cold, is 16th, 17th, 18th. But most of this 1 week period is going to be dealing with the warmer than normal conditions. So that's why we see those reds around. So really, we're going to have a warm first, I would say 2/3 to this week, obviously. So that's going to overall make it more of a red week, sorry. And here we are taking a look at the 18th through the 25th. And you can see a huge flip. Positive P&A indicated by those warmer than normal conditions out there in the west. And then we see plenty of cold here for the eastern United States, especially along the Gulf Coast, up through the Appalachian Mountains, the mid-Atlantic, even in through the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. So basically the entire Northeast and eastern United States. I'd say the eastern third of the United States at least dealing with these colder than normal conditions. And this is actually quite significant for a 1 week period, pretty cold compared to normal. And then here we are taking a look at that final week, so the 25th through the 1st of November, so we do get 1 day from November. You can only look at this on 7-day increments, so we pretty much had to allow that 1 day to sneak in there. But as you can see, there is still going to be cold conditions around for the eastern United States and still very warm conditions out there in the west. And really, I don't really know if it's going to set up exactly this way. I think it's probably either going to be colder than normal for the entire East or not. I think this model, since it's 12 runs combined and then 4 members, this is a lot of averaging out happening here by this point. And I've talked about that before with ensemble models, how if you get very far out, it really starts to average out and really just go very conservative. It's not very aggressive with that outlook. So you start to see things that aren't really going to happen, but it's more of a safe call, I guess you could say. So as of right now, this model is leaning towards colder than normal conditions for the 25th through the 1st. But also there is that slim chance that we see the warmer than normal conditions also for the eastern United States. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, which month do you think for this upcoming winter is going to be the coldest and snowiest? And Karen Snyder said February. Very straightforward there. But I think it's most likely that, yeah, February out of all 3 of the winter months would be the coldest and snowiest. We've seen year in and year out, we've seen the winter get kind of later and later and later and last longer and longer. So usually our winters have been lasting from like the last half of January through into like the last half of April, as opposed to, December, January, February. It's been really weird lately. So I have to imagine that it's going to be somewhat close to how it has been in years past. Anyway, for our patron highlights of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Diamond patrons, Alicia Davis, Madbird, Dan Hazard, Cindy Klein, and Mark J, alongside our Platinum patrons, Larry LePan and Donna Carnes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.